Darlings. Hello, my darling black swans. How are you? So today we've got our live, and we are going to be talking about why men marry women they don't love. Now, this is a very emotional topic. I know we get really emotional. Okay, ladies. We get super emotional. Nice to see you. Come on in, and make sure that you share this one, because this one's important. Because I've done a reel before, probably a year ago, talking about this, because to me it is, I guess for people like myself in the industry, or just for myself, it's always been very obvious that this goes on. But we all kind of feel like some kind of way when we hear that there are many men who do not marry for love. Hello. How are you all, my darlings? How are you? So good to see you. Yes, so let's proceed, because I really want to get into this topic, and then we can maybe take some questions later. Hello, my name is Sparkle. Great, let's get on with it then. I've got my laptop open because my other notepad, just work with me. It's alive here. I can't always be organized. And so let's go. Why do men marry women that they don't love? Now, a few things have to be said before I get into this. Somebody says, I feel like baby mamas are included in this in order for the man to do what is right, even if he never gives his best. I come from baby mama culture. This is very interesting. Love to have that conversation. I am going to save it. Yes, I will. Fantastic. We need to have a few things. We need to build some foundations first. Let's first understand that marriage was never originally, even biblically, about love. Marriage was always about property. It was about values. So if we're going to go all the way back to biblical times, I remember there's a scripture where Abraham sends his servant to go and find a wife from his mother's side, blah, blah, blah. And that had to do with keeping to the culture, keeping and maintaining certain traditions. So, but it was never to do with love. It was about the propagation of the human race. It was about posterity. It was about legacy. It was very functional. The ancient woman was not wired or conditioned to even want or expect or look for love, right? It was never exactly, they married for lifestyle, they married for similar religions, they married to, keep the family going. There were so many reasons, but love, romance, passion, that was not in there. So when we read stories like Ruth and Boaz, we project our modern day conditioning onto Bible stories. My Boaz. There was no romance. There was no fuzzy feelings. It was about this old man who could have had a big old belly, who was probably married to somebody. He wasn't a bachelor. In those times, they could marry more than one woman. Who was just kind, but he may not have been attractive. She may have been this young girl with this old man, because we're told that he was old. We listen to Esther and we want to be Esther the queen, but her king was a friggin' weirdo, right? Probably sociopathic, God knows. Okay, we know about Abigail and her crazy husband, okay? So many scriptures that tell us that actually people weren't marrying for love. They were marrying for convenience, for lifestyle, for other things. Can you imagine a world like that? A world where, as women, it didn't even occur to us that we could or needed to fall in love. And I want you to know that those cultures still exist. I was talking to my Uber driver who married his cousin. They are, and in those days, because Abraham and Sarah were brother and sister, step, right? So marrying your step or your cousin was very normal. And a lot of cultures still do it to this day. So my cab driver, he's from Pakistan, and he's married to his cousin. And She married him. The parents sorted it out, right? And marriage in many cultures to this day has nothing to do with love and passion and desire and being loved, like so very little. And love, though the man was commanded by the Bible to love, this was not an emotional thing. This was the kind of love that Jesus had for us where he died on the cross. This is the kind of love that is sacrificial. Like, make sure that you're kind, you prioritize, you take care of, and do all these good things for the woman. Treat her with kindness and all these things. That's why there had to be instructions, right? That's why men had to be instructed on how to love a wife. And that's why women needed instructions on how to love a husband, because it was a job. It was a job. It was a natural job for the procreation, for posterity, for growth, for keeping wealth in the family, keeping property in the family. When people marry cousins, even here in England, first cousin marriages are legal, even in modern England. I can marry my first cousin, okay? And it would be legal. It might not be the healthiest choice, but it would be legal. Obviously, in my culture, that would not be legal. In terms of, I'm Zimbabwean, and in my culture, we cannot marry relatives. But I just want to lay this foundation, okay? Because we're getting our panties in a twist, right? And I say, and I create this content for us, not to make us hate men, okay, ladies? I would hate that my legacy would be that I taught women to hate men, that I was the new red pill for women. I would hate it. I would quit straight away if I started to develop that reputation. I am in love with love. I'm in love with love. I adore men. I love men. I love them. I love men the way I love women. I love them. I would never do anything to harm them or create content to harm them. And so when I hear women doing, oh, these men are monsters, they're wicked, they're horrible, they're terrible, I feel like, oh my God, am I not being understood? So that's why I'm on a live today. And I want you to share this with everybody, because we need to get certain things pinned in our psychology. I want us to realize that in the 18th and 19th century, the idea of romance and passion was introduced into the consciousness of people, of humans, right? It's a new concept. The idea of falling in love and developing feelings. What are feelings? What is falling in love? What is it really? It's a hormonal cocktail. It's adrenaline, it's oxytocin, it's all of these things that happen biologically anyway. That's why in arranged marriages, love does come. Why? Because a woman will release oxytocin if she gets penetrated. Whether she has an orgasm or not, whether she enjoys it or not, the moment you are penetrated by a man, you are going to release tons and tons and bucket loads of oxytocin. You're going to bond to that man. So that's why arranged marriages work, because you might not like him, but have enough sex with him and you're bonded to him. And if he's kind to you and takes care of you and provides for you, you are going to fall in love. But these are hormones. There's no actual real concept. There's no like real concept. There's no like spiritual thing that we have been taught and conditioned to believe it is. And whilst women have hook, line, and sinker bought into the idea of romance, men don't need romance to get an erection. They don't need to like you to get an erection. It's just a biological reality. As women, we need to feel safe with the man, to sexually open up for him, to lubricate, right? Safety has to be established. Trust has to be established. The falling in love thing, that's got our knickers in a twist. So when I say men don't marry women they love, oh my God, they're horrible beasts. No, they're not. For a man, marriage is about posterity. It's about legacy. It's about his children. A man only marries when he's ready to extend his lineage, create his legacy, and have posterity. Men marry so they can have children, by and large. They don't marry to propagate our romantic ideas and all these things. Okay, now before you tune off and go crying, okay, and yelling at me, don't yell at me. I'm gonna break it down for you, but I just want to lay some foundations. I want to lay some foundations for you so that let's get into our heads and out of our feelings. If love had been the number one protocol for procreation, you and I probably wouldn't exist, because your ancestors married out of responsibility and duty to their families. A man would marry in days of old because he didn't have sexual access without marriage, because sexual access equaled reproductivity. Okay, so there was no birth control pill. There were no condoms. Okay, the most a man could do was pull out. And if you're of Jewish religion, of Hebrew religion, and you pulled out, that was a sin. Right? So, of course, a man had to marry because it was understood, and it was logical that if you have sex with a woman, she's going to have your baby, unless we have, fertility issues. So therefore, you have to marry because we need to establish the longevity and the well-being of the offspring. So why does the modern man have to marry when women are on contraception? When contraception means sex doesn't necessarily equal childbirth or reproduction. So that's why men don't marry as they used to before. But there are still motivations for men marrying. And those motivations are for sexual and sensual stability. That's the motivation for men. And the primary motivation for women is financial stability and status. Based on the research that was done by Harvard in the 90s. Maybe things have changed. I would love to see more research, and I might do more of that. But I think fundamentally, those things still remain the reason. So men now marry because they want sexual stability with a woman that they find attractive, physically, mentally, emotionally. They don't want to be out here in these streets running up and down, competing with younger men for pretty girls. They just want to find a girl that's beautiful enough, nice enough, sweet enough, kind enough to have consistent sexual interaction with. Okay? And they want to have, a home, a nice cozy home to come to at the end of every day. And they would like to have children with that one woman. That's the ideal, right? But men don't need to be in love. They don't need the fanfare we need. Which is why women marry so badly. Right? That's why women marry so badly. Men tend to marry well. They settle more than we do. That's for sure. But they tend to choose a woman that makes sense. They choose a woman that makes sense to them, their world, their mom, their sister. They make logical and rational decisions about their partner. Because they're not flooded by these emotional needs that we want to impose on them. Like, if a man's not going to fall in love with me, he's not going to be worthy of marriage, right? We're so obsessed, and that's why there's so many of us that are single, because we just want... If women dated the way men do, like in the olden days, a man would have to come to her father with gifts, a dowry. We just have to go back to biblical truth. We look at Rebecca, right? The servant had to go with gold, with silver, with gifts. Women didn't marry for love. They married for stability. Somebody says we buy the cow if we can get the milk for free. Why buy the cow? Culture is very common these days, unfortunately. Yeah. I mean, men will buy a cow that they're getting milk from. They do, because the concept of who they marry now is not what it used to be. if you're going to hold out on giving a man sexual access, that better be about your values, who you think who you are, your relationship with God, and your values about yourself. Don't make it about whether he'll marry you or not. Men are marrying hoes. Okay, they're marrying the women they're sleeping with. I hate to break it to you, but that's what's up. And if you want to tell yourself any other story, ladies, it's up to you. If you want your pastor to tell you a different kind of story, that's up to you. Your sexual selectiveness, your sexual protocols are about you, your self-respect. They're about you, your mental health. They're about you. A man's not going to marry you because you said no to sex, right? He's just going to sleep with other women. So we need to get those ideas out of our heads, okay? And that's another video for another time. All right? So back to where we were. Somebody said men don't love. I don't believe men can love the way we do. Men love really hard. Men actually, if they're in their masculine energy, they actually authentically love, because men are made like God, masculine energy. Masculine energy is rooted and grounded and sprouts from love. Men who are healthy and healed love so well. Some of us have never been loved by a man, so we don't even know it's possible. And when I mean loved by a man, I want you to think about your dad. My dad worshipped the ground I walked on. I could never do any wrong. My dad was my number one fan. I've been loved so deeply by a man. So I know what it is to be loved by a man. Men love very hard, and they love wholly. They love completely. They love the woman. I was saying this to my coaches. I was like, women are actually the ones who don't love the way men love. Men are the principle of love. So the man, the reason is commanded to love because he's got the principle of love. Men love very naturally. Okay, so that don't buy into the lie that men don't love the way we love. Women don't love men. And some of you are going to really be upset at me for saying this, but we don't love men. We are in love with how men make us feel. We're in love with how men make us feel. That is why when we're unhappy, when he's not creating the atmosphere for us to feel good, and this is not sinful. This is not, men criticize us for this, right? Men criticize women. This is our nature. This is feminine energy. Just like it is the nature of man to be the way I've just described, it is the nature of women to not love a man. We don't love men. We love the feeling they give us. The feeling of being beautiful, desired, wanted, protected. Whew. That feeling is what we're actually in love with. This is why women can fall in love 130 times. I'm talking about healthy humans. A woman who loves okay, I want you to observe. A woman who loves a man and not what a man provides for her emotionally. We've seen that woman. We've seen her destroy her life. The woman is not built to love. She's built to receive love. The feminine is receptive. The feminine flourishes when she receives love. The feminine is at her best. The feminine is a better partner for the masculine. She's going to show up for the masculine. She's going to love on the masculine. She's going to be very sexual with the masculine. The more highly sexual a woman is directly proportionate to how much love she can receive. And the modern woman has a hard time receiving love. We're not taught to receive love. Okay? This is conditioning. This is programming. This is why I train you the way I do. This is why I teach you the things I teach you. This is why I'm always talking about being in your body. And the modern man wants a woman to love him. The unhealed man wants a woman to love him for who he is. That's a man in his feminine. He wants to receive love from the woman. No, he receives respect from the woman. Hard truths. I know you're not going to like me for some of the stuff I'm going to tell you, but we just definitely need to get over this. Make sure you share this video to all the sisters who need to hear this, because if we don't understand, we're going to stay single for life, waiting for a non-existent situation and a non-existent reality, okay? We're also not going to hold men to their highest possible standard. Women are so busy trying to fall in love and so busy trying to love the man that we've robbed men of the ability to be men. Men would go to war for women. Men go to work and wake up every day and accumulate and strive so they can have a woman. But we're like, we're free. Come get it, right? And they might like it because they don't know any better. They're being conditioned to be feminine, just like we've been conditioned to be masculine. Go get a man. Go find a man. You know, I hear women say all the time, oh, I haven't found my man. You're not supposed to find. You're a woman. Okay? We don't find men. We attract men. The feminine is built to attract, right? Men find. The masculine is built to go get, to penetrate, to break the wall, get what it wants. Men who end up with the women they absolutely desire and love are men that go for women. The masculine will only ever get what the masculine wants by going for it. Period. Men who sit around talking about, I don't chase, I attract. They attract insecure, masculine, anxiously attached women, and then they get hurt and disrespected. And then they're like, you women are just like, because you are not built to attract, sir. You are built in every way, psychologically, emotionally, biochemically, built to penetrate, get what you want. If a man does not have a go-get mindset, he's going to end up with a woman he doesn't want. He's going to settle for what he can get. And that's what we're having. We're having men who are sitting in their feminine. I'm going to work on my purpose. And then I'm going to attract to me. Honey bunny, you're not attractive enough. Men will never be attractive enough. You're not built to be attractive. You will have to, as a man, this is why when I coach men, we have to correct the masculine energy. And men get it. When I'm in a one-to-one session, they're like, I get it. Because I can tell you, when I coach men, I can read them back to themselves. You're married to this woman, you made this mistake, this is why your marriage is broken, because you did this and da-da-da-da-da. And they're like, oh my God, I read men's palms. Don't be telling me anything about only men can talk about men. I work with men. I know men, married men, single men. I know male psychology. I know how these things work. And when a man is attracting, he will never, ever, ever end up with a woman he desires. Okay? If a man is going to end up marrying the woman he desires, he's going to have to go for her. Why? Because that's how he loves. When a man pursues what he wants, the risk, the anxiety, the internal stuff he has to overcome, the feelings he has to overcome, all of that, leveled out with his testosterone and his drive, begin to release the hormones that he needs to actually have the feeling of, I'm in love, I love her so much. A man will never release the vasopressin that he needs to be in love with a woman if he's sitting back and just working with what he can attract. Gentlemen, you will only ever attract a masculine, disrespectful, anxious, broken woman. And you will love it, but she will destroy you. Okay? Some men are great, but they have been destroyed by women. I know. I work with men. I know the kind of women out here. I create content for women, but don't be deluded. I know what men are facing. I was talking to my counselor, our counselor, Shani. She works with men too. Do you know how much domestic violence men are facing? We Black Swans are kind, loving, sweet women. We can't even imagine that there are women out there who destroy men on a level that would blow your mind. There are men who are in counseling right now because of domestic violence from women. Let's just be awake to that. And those women are the women they attracted. Okay? They attracted them. As a man, you've got to go for what you want. You can't be like, oh, she'll never want me. Let me just work with what I can get. And to go for what you want, you're going to have to be a better man. Because if you want that girl, you're going to have to be that guy. And guess what? That climb is so good for men. It brings out their masculinity. It brings out their strength. It brings out their genius. It brings out their thought. I mean, a man is at his best when he's pursuing. And this is where I say to you girls, let him pursue for goodness sake. Okay? Let him pursue, because that's how you end up being married to a man that doesn't love you. That's how you end up in a bad situation. I want you to share this because I don't want to have this conversation again. I don't want to have this conversation again. Share with your friends. I don't want to have this conversation with you girls again, because we need to build upon this. Right? You're so welcome. We can't keep doing this. I don't know how many other times I have to tell you. He will not fall in love with you if you're a chasing little bunny. Chasing his Instagram, chasing his... By the way, if you haven't seen my story, I've got a perfect example of a woman chasing. They cannot biochemically release the hormones that attach them to you emotionally if you keep hunting these men down and keep listening to weak men, feminine men on podcasts saying you women have to come after us. I'm not chasing. These are not men. These are feminine men. These are boys, because real masculine energy men only need one thing: a signal. That's it. A signal of interest. And when they do pursue, they just need a bit of encouragement. That's it. All right? So we're ending up in these relationships where the man hasn't got an emotional attraction to us, but marries us anyway because we make sense. Why? Because women are chasing men. We are not allowing their bodies to do what they're biochemically designed to do. Thank you, the Lagos divorce lawyer. We must let them do what they're biochemically designed to do. But you need to stop being thirsty, because that's how you become the unloved wife. I think in the book of Ecclesiastes, or one of the wisdom books, he says there's nothing more terrible under the sun than an unloved wife. Because we have, as women, prioritized marriage. And we should. But it can never be above and beyond to a man who is emotionally connected to us. Okay? Darlings. All right? Now, let's get into this. A man who is under the age of 45, he's not yet reached andropause, which is the male version of menopause. Okay? That I'm sure after women have figured out menopause, okay, I reckon the men will get the opportunity to really explore andropause for themselves, because it's a massive deal for men. Because their hormonal structures are changing too. And they're becoming more feeling beings. Okay? Men under the age of 45 or who have not yet started andropause are not going to make a marital decision based on passion and how they feel about you. They're going to make a rational and logical decision about you as a woman. And they have to, if they're smart. That doesn't mean he can't be in love with you. They're not mutually exclusive. To create love and connection in a man is a totally different protocol. Okay? That we teach in the Black Swan Relationship Academy in the Mastering Attraction Masterclass. That's why I create these courses for you girls. That's why we have coaches for you, because it's not obvious how to do these things, okay? Especially in the modern world where everything is everywhere, right? You need to actually have an understanding, right? Creating emotional attraction for a man is one thing. And becoming a woman a man will logically, rationally choose to marry, that's another skill. Some of us are just good at one or the other. This is why you can be in a situation, okay, where a man has this emotional attraction to you, but he will never marry you. Because you haven't got the other skill set of being the rational, logical choice for a marriage-ready man. The qualities that you lack. So he can love you, he can have that emotional attachment over here, but marry her. And she is not going to have his emotional love. She's not going to have his emotional connection. But if he's a good man, if he's a decent man, he'll provide for her, he'll protect her, he will cherish her. You know, my cab driver, the one I was telling you about earlier, who is married to his cousin, actually married his cousin, but he was in love with another woman. And the other woman was of a different religion. I think he is Hindu, and I think she was Sikh. And so he fell in love with this girl, but they couldn't be together. So he married his cousin. And he told me that because I talk about relationships with people and men, especially everywhere I go. My world is actually really surrounded by men, by the way. I have more male friends and people in my life than I actually do women. You guys, you ladies are my women. You're my sweethearts. You're my girls. And, you know, the women I work with. So, because men feel really safe to be around me. Because I'm not that girl that gets emotional when they're being honest. Okay. So, he married this girl. And he tells me that, you know, she was good. But he was still in love with the other woman. And I believe he's still in love with the other woman. But he still, because he's a decent guy, he provides, he protects, he cherishes, and I mean cherish, he takes her on holidays, he's apologized for everything, he's made amends, he cherishes her. It is possible to be the woman that he didn't love, but a woman that is truly cherished. Okay? A man doesn't have to love you to cherish you. It's just better if he loves you. You know? It's just better. But a man doesn't have to love you to be faithful to you and to honor you and to take care of your needs emotionally, spiritually, sexually. He doesn't have to be in love with you. It's just easier for him if he is, right? At the end of the day, this is what we need. This is what really matters, okay? I have a list of things I'm going to go through. But this is what really matters. In any relationship dynamic, male, female, woman, man, whatever, the only thing that matters is agreement. I wish women knew just how important it is for us to walk in our feminine energy. If women would simply smile more at men, I believe it would be a wonderful impact in society. Yes, I agree with you, Linnell Rose. Smart girl. Agree with you. Lost my train of thought because I'm really silly like that. Agreement. What matters in any relationship dynamic at any point is agreement. Agreement to what? We need to agree on the relationship we're having. As long as you know and sign a contract, okay? Because marriage is simply a contract. It is legally binding in some cases. Some cases it's culturally binding. But it is a contract. Sometimes it's verbal. Sometimes it's on paper. It's a contract, just like a dating contract. Yes, here at the Black Swan Relationship Academy, we have a contract for every level. But it's not about the writing, but it's about how much of the unconscious do we bring into the conscious and have honest and open conversations about. What does it mean to be my boyfriend? What does it mean to be your boyfriend? to be my boyfriend, you're my fiance, okay? That's what it means to be Chengi's boyfriend, is to be my fiance. Because I'm not wasting my time with anybody wasting my time, right? But what does it mean to be your boyfriend? What does it mean to be her boyfriend at the age of 18? Does she want to get married? No, but maybe she wants exclusivity. She wants that longevity. What is your contract? What does it take to be in a relationship with you? That doesn't just go for the women, that goes for the men. The reason our knickers are in a twist, or panties are in a twist, because I keep saying knickers, that's a British term, about this is because we're going into marriages, okay? What I do with my couples is we just negotiate contracts, okay? Now, contracts are not just about, okay, I want the dog, the cat, and the pig, right? Contracts are, what does that look like when it comes to the time we spend together? What does that look like when it comes to, so we have to negotiate time, space, sex, and money. What does our money look like? How does it look like it gets spent? How does it look like it gets saved? What does money mean to you? What does money mean to me? We can have 3-4 weeks of negotiating financial contracts. Because if we get that right, the things that break relationships is bad contracts. Because guess what? We have conscious contracts and unconscious contracts. In every area of life. You know, in a workplace situation, you get this job and they're paying you this amount and this is your job title, but you have an unconscious contract that, oh, if I work really hard, I'm going to get promoted and earn this amount. This is my potential. No one told you were going to get that in the interview. It was never even advertised. But there was an unconscious contract that if I work hard, I can earn this amount. We do that with relationships. So many of us are completely unaware of ourselves. We live in cloud cuckoo land. Men and women, okay? Men go into these marriages without a contract. All they're thinking about is, I don't want to run away with half of my stuff and my children. But that's not the contract that keeps marriage going, okay? How much sex do you want? How much sex do you need as a man? What kind of sex do you want and need? Come on now. Let's have this conversation. And a lot of our church counseling does not cover half of what we do here at the Black Swim Relationship Academy. We're giving you principles. What we need to negotiate contracts. And when we're talking about couples counseling, we are coming to discuss the contracts. As a man, what is your contract? How much sex do you need, want, and expect? Because you're marrying this woman because, you know, it's good right now. But what is it going to take to keep you comfortable as a man? What kind of time alone do you need as a man? Let's have this conversation before we walk up the aisle, because you might be the guy that needs to disappear for a few days and that's not going to work with me, okay? Or with her. We're not negotiating the right contracts. So it comes back to agreement. What are we agreeing on? Because if we can shake hands, kiss on it, hug on it, whatever we need to do to seal this agreement, okay? If we can be in agreement, then nobody's being duped. If a man is marrying you and he's making it clear, I'm marrying you because you're a good woman. I trust that you will be a good mother to my children. I trust that you will be, you know, faithful and loyal to me. You are going to take care of yourself and stay attractive, and you're going to do this. And that's why I'm marrying you. This is why we're having this conversation right now. I'm being honest. I can't say I have heavy. I mean, men can't say this these days because women will just be out that door, okay? We can't take a lot of honesty. And girls, we got to put our hands up, okay? Come on. Be honest, this Mama Swan. I can't even take some kind of level of honesty, but I can take a lot from men. Men tell me I can take a lot from men. But even then, there's some things that my heart can't take. But what if we could just be open and have these conversations? And then you could say to him, well, okay, in exchange for regular sex 4 times a week, 5 times a week daily. I know women that have contracts to have sex every day and twice on Sunday. I don't know how they do it, but you know. But that's their contract. They've signed off on that contract. But in exchange, I'm never going to work ever. Because I need the rest. I need the leisure for me to be ready for some good time for you when you get home. Let's have this conversation. What we're doing is just rushing into marriage, creating these horrible situations, okay, that only are ever going to lead to divorce, because everybody's coming with an unconscious contract. Everybody's coming in with whatever. But maybe we can negotiate. This is the problem. It's not about, does he love you? Does he not love you? Do you love him? Do you not love him? It doesn't, honestly, when it comes to marriage and commitment, these are not important conversations to have. Do you want to be in love? That's your right. That's my right. I am honestly 100% going to be honest with you. I totally want to be in love with my next husband. Right? I need that. I want that for myself. So I'm also aware that might take a while, right? Because very few men impress me, and very few men, and I've got my own stuff that I'm working on. Okay. But I understand that if I make falling in love a priority, I'm not necessarily going to get married tomorrow. Okay. But if you are a young woman who has family in mind and you want to have a family and there's a certain lifestyle you want to go along with, that being a wife and mom part, you got to sober up of the drugs, of the highs, right? And think about what contract serves you. I absolutely agree. The Bible teaches us how important it is to be equally yoked with our partners. 100%. 100%. When we can have marriages that are based on agreement, unless two walk together and agree, two cannot walk together unless they agree. We are creating marriages that are based on, oh, I want him to love me. What does that love look like? Because he could love you and be a bum. What does that love look like? The love you're looking for, what does it look like? Because you won't care. You won't burden yourself with, oh, does he love me? If he shows you love in the way that you understand love. If he's kind to you, kindness is a number one thing for me. You got to be a kind man. If you are incapable of being kind, you will never make me feel loved. Right? Can he show consistent kindness even when he's mad at me? Even if he can't stand me that day? Even when I've been bad? Because I can be bad. You know what I mean? But can he be kind? Right? That's what love looks like to me. Right? So what does love look like to you? Because you can negotiate that. You can ask for that. And I promise you, when needs are met, okay, and core needs especially, which is what we work on here, the Black Swan Relationship Academy, for men and women, is helping you get to your core needs. Your core needs are the pieces of you, the values that make you you, that make you you. My core needs are different from your core needs, because for me to be me and to feel safe in a relationship, to feel comfortable in a relationship, and when I talk about comfort, I'm talking about nervous system comfort, okay? I'm not talking about luxuries and private jets. I am talking about nervous system regulation. For my nervous system to be regulated, these are my core needs. I promise you, if you align with and come into agreement with somebody who meets your core needs, and we want this to be as natural to them as possible, which is why when I'm teaching you ladies about dating and I say, don't demand that he gives you this or takes you here. See how that man, see his natural water level. When he's at rest, when you're not forcing, compelling him, pushing him, blackmailing him, doing all of these things that women do that are so stupid, to a man, what does he naturally give you? How does he work with your nervous system? Because if a man works well with your nervous system, that's you being aware of your subconscious protocols, which is why we have coaches to take you through the journey, because you can't do it by yourself, okay? Knowing what it takes for your nervous system to be regulated in terms of your needs, in terms of your trauma, in terms of all of these things. And a man comes into your life and he regulates your nervous system. Okay, Houston, we have a winner. I promise you something. You will fall in love with him. A woman is not designed to fall in love quickly. It doesn't mean that her body can't be aroused quickly, okay? You can lubricate quickly if a man has the right pheromones, right? Attraction, sexual attraction is a biological phenomenon. We don't choose who we're physically attracted to, right? Our bodies decide that based on the DNA of the other person and the information that we take in through our nose by smelling them. This is why you cannot love somebody you've never smelt. Okay, girls? You've got to smell a man. And he's got to smell you. That is why we cannot build relationships via text. Okay, darlings? This is why we cannot build relationships over phone calls. For your body to inform you of sexual, reproductive compatibility, you have to smell a man. I'm not talking about his cologne. We're talking about his pheromones that carry coding that your brain will interpret. Goes through your nose to the back of your throat to the part of your brain. And what is that coding? What is your brain trying to decode? How close he is to mom or dad. We do not marry too far away from home. Okay? We do not find... So you can be sitting next to a married man and you're lubricating. It's not your fault. You're not a hoe. It's just that his pheromones, you've breathed his pheromones and you're turned on. All right? So physical attraction, you can't say you love somebody if you've never smelt them. And gentlemen, if a woman has smelt you and she does not want you, stop trying to buy her things and take her places. Okay? Yes, a woman can grow to love you. She can grow. A woman is not designed to fall in love quickly. Once the DNA coding stuff is done, a woman in her feminine, okay, pay attention. A woman in her feminine. A woman in her feminine is a healthy woman. She's a respecting woman. She's an honoring woman. Listen carefully to any of the gentlemen that may be watching this. If you want a woman that honors and respects you, admires you, you must earn the right to that. If a woman falls in love with you and you have made no effort, it is not falling in love, darling. That is a trauma response. She is trying to fix the broken relationship she had with her dad or her mother. This is why when men believe all this red pill stuff, that is not all rubbish, but mainly toxic, they end up with women that disrespect them. Women that do not honor them. Because I don't want to chase. I'm not giving any woman nothing. Like, why should I give her things? Because she's got to earn the right. No, darling. If you want a quality woman who's in a feminine, you're going to have to win her love. Because a woman is built to receive. That's why the men that I coach, they penetrate the world. They go for what they want, and they get what they want. Can I get an amen? Okay. So, as women, a man must win us over time. So you've seen the post that I've got of the romance story on my posts here on Instagram. And I think I posted it on YouTube too, etc. All my platforms. This young lady was like dating 3 guys. One of the guys, she was like, I love him. Oh my God, he turns my body on. Oh, he's so sexy. The second one, she was like, oh, I like how he makes me feel. He's so sweet and adorable and lovely. And the third one, she was like, he's really sweet, but I don't know if I like him. I don't know if I think he's a nice guy. And so I listened to all the stories and I said to her, well, the guy you're not keen on, that's your guy. That's your guy. Oh, he's a nice guy, but I was like, give him 3 dates, please. Just give him 3 dates. Because I knew, okay, I know her story, I know her trauma. I knew that the guy that turned her on was actually a trauma response. That's to do with issues with her dad. I knew that's what that was, right? The second guy was just a weirdo, okay? You do what I do for as long as I do it. I just need to see a picture and I'm done. I know exactly what we're working with, okay? And some of the things she was saying. But the third guy, he was solid. He was showing up. But guess what I knew? She felt safe and calm around him. He made her nervous system feel comfortable. You know what he said? The others were like, oh, I don't like you dating other guys. I don't like you. Wait, you know, the usual. And the third guy said to her, I know you got to date other men. I know you're seeing other people, but I'm not afraid of competition. And I'm going to go blow the competition out the water. I was like, and ladies and gentlemen, we have a masculine man. Okay? And he was like, do what you got to do, but I'm going to win you. He put in some work. And he got the girl. Not because Mama Swan said, oh, choose him. I let it go. I just said, give him 3 dates. Because I know when I'm dealing with a winner. I knew this man was going to win my baby girl's heart. Okay? Okay? The other 2, they're high on red pill nonsense. Okay? So they're out here trying to be like, oh, I want to attract. Okay? They're out in the cold. All right? The third guy earned her love. He was not physically the guy she wanted. He was not, but he was good and he put in the work and he got the girl and now she's smitten. She's utterly in love with him. Like most of my brides. You have to understand. In all you're getting, get understanding. That's what it says in Proverbs. In all of your getting, get understanding. A lot of what we think we know is conditioning, scripting. That has been given to us for agendas we know nothing of. When we work with our truest God-given psychology, we always win. When we understand ourselves as women, we're always going to win. We're going to marry well. We are going to choose the best men. But when we keep playing stupid games, making it easy for men, going on stupid walks. Yes, I have a problem with walking dates. It is not a date because it shows no investment. You are not a dog. Why are you letting somebody walk you? To service their insecurities. The only man that wants to walk a woman is a man who is not interested in her, who does not love himself or value a woman. Why are you being walked? Are you a dog? Because we only walk dogs. My son is 18, but when he was 15 and 16, he was taking girls to the cinema and paying for them with his pocket money. Why would you let a grown man walk you in the park? Why are you so desperate? Because then you're the girl in the comments going, these men are just evil. You know, like that. You're not even giving this man an opportunity to fall in love with you. By all means, take a walk in the park. But let's have a picnic. Let the man put some effort. Let him go and get a picnic basket and go through the effort of making the sandwiches and go through the effort of... Let him put some effort. Because if you end up with a man that doesn't love you, okay, that's not on me. That's on you. Because I can't keep saying this. Why are you letting these men Netflix and chill with you? Do you not love yourself enough, darling? It's okay. If you don't love yourself, I'm going to teach you how to love you. I've got a whole team of women and hopefully men, because I'd love a man on my coaching team. Okay, I really want two guys on my coaching team. Yes, let me know if you want to be a coach. I'd love to meet you. But we're out here. Why would you ask? Why are you even on the dating market if you don't love yourself? What are you actually asking men to love? You don't even love yourself. Why don't you love yourself? You should love yourself and value yourself before you ask anybody to love you and value you. Because that's how you get gotten. That's how you get gotten by unqualified men. Unqualified men. Do you know who my swan chose? Who the guy she chose? He's a student. The other guys, they were tech people with loads of money, but she got a qualified man. She's going to live well. She's going to be taken care of. He doesn't have money right now, but he has the qualities of a man. Because even when he didn't have it, he took her off for a picnic. When he doesn't have it, he makes the effort. Don't you dare sell yourself a loaf of bread, woman. Don't you dare let these men finesse you and try to make you feel like you're a gold digger. You should never give your heart to a man who has no intention of earning it. Because you're going to be the girl in my comments calling men dogs. They are great guys in this world. Great men in this world. Masculine men, cherishing men, generous men, loving, loyal, faithful men in this world. And they're plenty. But we're going to give ourselves away for a loaf of bread to that other idiot. And then when he breaks our heart, we want the good guy to earn and heal what that guy broke. And it's happening in reverse. Men do it too. They go and be generous with her over there and love on her over there. Then when they meet a good woman, she doesn't deserve a date. She doesn't deserve anything because that one over there, we do it to each other. But we've got to stop. We've got to choose men who actually want to earn us. Otherwise, you are going to be an unloved wife. I actually have a whole kind of content that I was going to talk to you about. But I don't want to go into it because I think I've been here a while and I'd rather take questions. But what I'm going to do in my next live, I'm going to go through some more specific content, okay? Because what I want to talk about is how men choose to marry and the kinds of women they choose to marry, okay? What drives their commitment protocols, okay? Excuse me. And I want to talk about the kinds of women that men fall in love with and the protocols around that. And then I'm going to talk about how you know he's in love, okay? But we'll be here all day if I go into that. I want to give you a chance to ask some questions. And then when I come on live next week, I'm going to try and make it at the same time every week, okay? When I do come on live, I'm going to go into that. But I wanted to set a foundation, because if I don't set that foundation, we're just going to get into our feelings. Okay, so question time. Tall Tizzy. Does that mean you're tall and elegant and gorgeous? Let's see. Do you feel men also marry out of obligation, like if he gets a woman pregnant? There was a time men did, yes. I'm not saying that men don't, but not so much these days. It's so culturally acceptable to have a baby mama that honestly, that whole trapping a guy thing that women used to do, it works for very few. A lot of men will have a baby mama. It depends on the woman. If he made a woman in his community. Remember, I know a lot of people think I create content just for certain groups of people, but I actually create content for people all over the world. I have clients from all over the world. Okay, every part of the world. And in different cultures, if, you know, let's say like my cabbie was dating his cousin and they got pregnant, I mean, he would have to, he has an obligation to, okay, sweetie, I'm going to look at your question. There you go. Sorry, I should have prioritized that. So no, I don't think men have that pressure unless it is culturally, not these days, unless there's some sort of cultural pressure or some family pressure because of the way the system is set up. Yes, but not in general. If you get pregnant for a guy in the 21st century in the Western world, you're just going to be his baby mama. I hope that answers your question. Safra Beauty. Hello, we dated 4 weeks, no kissing, nothing. He sent me a Sportive's playlist, Spotify, I'm assuming, playlist, and disappeared. Been a week now. What should I do if I reach back? Okay. You dated a guy for 4 weeks, no kissing, no touching. He doesn't think you're interested. If you are going to do, I'm just curious, is this to do with some sort of religion? Because that changes everything. So if it's part of your religion, thank you, my darling. If it's part of your religion, so maybe you're Muslim, and maybe come from a strict religious, or even Christian. If it's a strong religious thing and he's strongly religious like you, then chances are you just didn't create the attraction. Okay, and that could be a million and one things. But what I'm seeing there is no kissing, no touching, men know that we're interested in how our bodies respond to them. Okay, so like, I'm not saying that should be the way they know we're interested. In truth, men should really be checking if they're masculine and they're trained to deal with feminine women, it should be how receptive we are to them. So are we showing up? Are we available? Are we answering the phone call? That's the receptive, available feminine, okay? That's how a man should know if a feminine woman is interested. But because a lot of men don't know how the feminine actually works, they're like, I want a feminine woman, but then they don't know how to service a feminine woman's psychology. He is going to look for physical markers. And I think there's a podcast episode I did with Kit on YouTube. So those of you who don't know about my YouTube channel, go there. And I know this is going to air on YouTube as well. So for my YouTube babies, hello. But on this channel, on YouTube, or if you're watching from Instagram, on the YouTube channel, I talk about Kit, my friend and colleague, talks about sexual escalation. So even if you're not going to sleep with a man, there's the opportunity to sexually escalate, right? So Maybe the first date you don't feel comfortable with holding hands, touching, or any of that. That's fine. The second date, maybe you might touch him a little bit more, but there has to feel like there's some escalation. But if it's not spiritual, we hugged and touched hands a lot. Okay, 4 weeks of no kissing and just hugging and touching hands. Like I said, unless it's for real spiritual reasons and you both share the same spirituality, that's why he's gone. But if he does reappear, normally if a man leaves for 6 to 8 weeks, he's gone. He might reappear maybe much later, but that's a whole new relationship at that point, and you're analyzing and you're kind of starting from scratch, and you have to sort of start vetting from scratch if you want him back. If it comes within the next 4 to 8 weeks, in the next 4 weeks, just go with it. Just date him, and date him the way that feels comfortable and safe to you. So I'm not promoting that you do things differently. I'm just explaining what potentially happened. So, date him, but don't berate him. I know you're going to feel like you want to be like, oh, well, you blah, 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 blah. It's not going to serve you. If you like him and you want him to come back, just think of it as we were not exclusive. We were not together. You've got every right to go do what you want to do. And you shouldn't be sitting around waiting for him to come back. You should be dating other people. You should have been dating other people. If he did make things exclusive in those 4 weeks and disappeared, then of course you have every right to some answers. Okay, so I don't know why, but to all of us, it's different, because we all have different values, different morals, and this is where compatibility comes in. You're so welcome. Men have been digging for gold since the mid-1800s, so please, ladies, don't fall for the gold digger nonsense. This is so good, but I think I might end up going on a bit of a tangent, but we'll have another conversation about that on a live. Yeah. Yeah. How to be not feminine. I know I am masculine, but don't know how to switch. I know, Mimi. I know. It's really hard. We're all very feminine at our core. But we have to not underestimate what scripting and conditioning has done. We're not scripted to be feminine. We're scripted to be masculine, because we live in a world that is built around the principle and the protocol of survival. And the moment we get into survival, we can only lean into our masculine to survive. And because of the way the dating and relationship market is unregulated, it was always a regulated space. It was regulated by fathers who would regulate the men's behavior. Fathers, brothers, the males in a woman's family would regulate, the men regulated the dating market and what other men were able to do with their daughters and their whatevers, right? But that doesn't exist anymore. And women would regulate the women for their sons, right? The sisters would vet and the mother would vet. So there was this kind of regulatory system that allowed us all to date with a regulated nervous system. But because no one is accountable to anybody, okay, unless we choose to make ourselves accountable to somebody, we're dating in a very unsafe environment. So please don't be hard on yourself when you can't switch into your feminine, because switching into your feminine is not something you click your fingers and get into. There's set of conditions that you need to create for yourself. Certain knowledge, certain information, certain education that you need to have to create an environment where you can be in your feminine and not expose yourself to certain dangerous. So ladies, please, I know that you get berated online by men, be feminine, and the men asking for femininity are usually the feminine guys, you know. Masculine men don't ask for femininity. They create an environment that just allows you to feel safe. And even the worst of us, even the most cantankerous, combative versions of us will lean into our feminine when we have the right masculine covering. Okay? And some of us can't because we have so much trauma. So even if a man was to protect and provide and cherish and create that covering, we would still fight him. But that's to do with undealt with trauma. So I don't teach femininity from, I do in the reels because it's fun, but I don't really teach femininity from the outside in. I teach femininity from the subconscious mind, from within the body, through the way that we feel, to then become feminine. Because I teach the embodiment of femininity, not the signaling of femininity. So a lot of femininity coaches teach women how to signal femininity, but not actually be feminine. Now, for me to teach you how to embody femininity, my coaches and I have to take you on a journey. All right? It's a journey. If you've spent 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years of your life in survival mode, you're not just going to watch a reel or go on YouTube and watch a few videos and, oopsie, I'm feminine, okay? You're going to need a journey so that you can be the embodiment of femininity. Once you are able to embody it and know what it feels like to be in your feminine body, you then are okay to be in your masculine body, because there's nothing wrong with being masculine. I'm right now in my masculine. Okay? Right now in this moment, I'm in my masculine energy because I am left lobed. I'm functioning from my left lobe. Okay? And I am using my intelligence. Right? And sometimes I go into my feminine to release wisdom. Okay? So the masculine is intelligent and the feminine is wise. Both exist in me. I am intelligent and I am wise. But to really lean into my intelligence, I need to be in my masculine energy. I need to be in the left part of my brain. To really lean into my wisdom, I need to be in the right lobe, okay? I need to be my feminine, right? So, this is not about, define feminine, let's go hug trees, you know. There's an actual science behind femininity. There's an actual spirituality around it. There's more to it. So what I want to say to you is you can start off by doing the feminine bundle. Okay, that will begin to set foundations for you. Okay. And that includes the feminine mastery and the dark feminine energy. Okay, because you need both to be fully in your feminine. Okay, and then you will understand about what masculinity looks like. And we're talking about the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. Okay, so let's start there. But if you want to take that a notch further, just comment help on any of my posts and the link will be sent to you to speak to our coaches for free for your first call with us. It'll be free. And you can explain and they can pinpoint for you where you're not showing up in your feminine or where you can tweak or what you can do. If you want to continue your journey with us, that's good. If you don't want to continue your journey with us, at least you have a start point. Okay, darling? With love, TQT. If you've been reciprocating his interests and he is playing the fool and doesn't even organize a date, it's clear. It's a clear sign to drop him, right? Explain reciprocating. You know, we use words, but words and meaning are two different things. Okay? Sometimes we're using a word and it means something, and I'm hearing it and I think it means something. So tell me what reciprocate means. Because if reciprocate means, he took me on a date and I took him on a date next. He took me on a date and I took him on a second date. And then he took me on the third date and I took him on a fourth date. That's not reciprocating within your feminine. He calls me, I call him. He calls me, I call him. That is not reciprocating in your feminine. When we have that dynamic, we have too masculine or too feminine. Okay? 50-50 is called a convenient relationship. It does not allow for the flow of the masculine and the feminine. You can only have feminine and feminine, masculine and masculine in a 50-50 relationship. And we call those friendships. Okay? The relationship model that lacks the most chemistry is a convenient one. Everybody does 50-50, reciprocate. You do for me, I do for you. Okay. But when we're talking about covenant relationship, we're talking about the covenant where the masculine is the masculine, the feminine is the feminine, and there's this flow. How the feminine reciprocates the masculine is different. So, for instance, he plans a date, puts in that effort and that investment that Mama Swan needs, okay? From all of you, to demand, to require. Not demand, just require. He takes you on a date, he makes this effort. Reciprocation is honoring him, appreciating him, validating him for that effort. Not taking him out on a second date, okay? Not calling him when he calls you. It's when he does call, making him feel good, telling him how much you love his voice and how he makes you feel so lit up when he calls you. Okay, what the masculine needs from the feminine in reciprocity, I can never say that word, is not giving back what he's giving you. Okay, so if you have been reciprocating within your feminine, okay, and you let him feel like he's Big Daddy because he took you on a date and he is behaving and he's treating you well, that's enough for a masculine man. That's pretty much what he's doing it for, okay? If you do that well and he's still farming fool, we got to keep him moving. But if you're doing the other one or version of the other one, well, you need to change how you date. I hope that helps. Okay. Alia. Hi, darling. What would be the two pieces of advice you'd give to someone going to speed dating events? Okay, the first one is have no expectation of outcomes. Okay, speed dating I think is loads of fun. I mean, I've never done it myself. Maybe I should, just for a laugh. But I do know my clients do it, and speed dating is a fantastic way to get a good read energetically, to smell the pheromones. Love it. I am for anything dating wise that allows us to be physically in the presence of the man, because we're gonna get so much better a read. So first and foremost, piece of advice, don't go there with any expectations. Don't go there thinking I might find the love of my life. Don't go there thinking, oh my God, it's just going to be the best. I want you to go there with a mindset of, hey, you never know. Okay, I want you to go in with a sense of wonder and openness and just, because sometimes it's the expectations we bring to the table or to anything that we do that actually begins to sabotage it. So that's piece of information number one. And piece of information number two, and I'm going to say this to Alia because she is a black swan and she's done the soulmate and she's worked with me and she knows exactly what I'm saying. Be in your body. Okay, a woman's body, when she is healing from her trauma, in tune with her feminine energy, gives her information about a man at record speed. People always say to me, Chengi, I'm very good at dismiss. I don't need time to know I don't want to be with that guy, because I pick up in my body danger, because I know my body. I live in my body. I know when somebody, this guy, I was doing a podcast and I showed up to the podcast and his producer, good looking man, really handsome, I could tell that he liked me, which was kind of cute. And he was very good looking. And instantly, my body did not feel safe around him. Now, after the podcast, the person who was trying to kind of put in a good word for him, what do you think about what's his face? I think, he was, obviously he asked his friend to have a word. And immediately I was like, no, the man's got rage in his body. He's very, very angry. And my friend was like, how did you know? Right. So that comes with being in your body. You can't trick my body, but you can treat my mind. Right. So this is why it's so important that we master our femininity. Because a feminine woman is high on instinct. Okay? They say women have high intuition, men have high intuition, women have high instincts. Women do have intuition, but that is very closely linked to the spirituality of what it is to be a woman, because being a woman is a spiritual concept, okay? But we'll talk about that some other time. But our instincts live within our bodies. So you can't charm me and tell me any kind of stupid things, because my body will tell me who you are, and very quickly. And so does your body, and so does the body of every woman here. A man's intuition will tell him. His intuition works through his eyes and through his experience and the genetics of the experience of his forefathers, okay? Because his genes have 21 sperm. His sperm has 21 genes dedicated to intuition alone. So men are highly intuitive, so they know. This is why I was talking to a gentleman who had been on Love is Blind. I said, Love is Blind doesn't work for men. It works for women, because the feminine falls in love with her ears, but the masculine must see in order for his intuition to kick in. Okay? So to answer your question, go in your body. Make sure you're in your body. Make sure you do your breathing exercises and be in your body, because your body's going to tell you everything you need to know. And what are we looking for in our body? We're looking for calm. Okay? We want to be entertaining and giving our energy to the man that makes us feel calm. That's what we're looking for, okay? That's what we're looking for in every interaction with a man. Do I feel safe, calm, comfortable? Is my nervous system regulated? Okay? That's the first thing we're looking for. And I'm going to give you a little trick. If you navigate dating from that perspective, you're going to find that you're compatible with a lot more men than you think. Okay? That's where that abundance comes from. Because if a man is able to create safety and security, and you're in your body, you're going to find that calmness is going to mean there are a lot of men that make you feel calm. You just don't find them sexy because they're not aligned with your trauma. Or their pheromones are not right for you, which is fair enough. I hope that answers your question, darling. Ladies, please put your questions in the question box, just so that I make sure I don't miss it. How to heal from anxious attachment. Anxious attachment is not something that happens to us. You're not born with an attachment style, okay? None of us are born with an attachment style. We are born to attach. And the way we are raised, the families we're raised in, the way love is given, the way love is taught to us, how we navigate the world, that determines your attachment style. So to heal your attachment style, you need to heal your trauma. You need to heal your subconscious beliefs. You have to heal. So that's trauma work. And that's what you would do with our trauma coach, Shani, trauma counselor, Shani, and with our coaches. This is why we have coaches and not just courses, because my coaching staff, I don't know about anybody else, but my coaching team are trauma informed, okay? It takes a lot to be a coach in the Black Swan Relationship Academy. You can ask them. Okay? It takes a lot to be a coach in the Black Swan Relationship Academy. So, because they have to do in a few years what I've been doing for 10 years, okay? But they are highly specialized. And this is what we do. So you can heal your attachment style, but you're not going to do it by reading a book. or, you know, just watching a video. There are practices and protocols you can put in place that can help you regulate the symptoms, or regulate yourself when the triggers come up. But to heal it, you need to do some work. Okay. Okay, Xavieras.gram. With a guy that has been pursuing me first, he only got more physical 3 months ago in terms of longer hugs, etc. I am his type 100%. Those in his circle know that. Part 2. I was told he's very affectionate, but I only see that late. Could this be his strategy to appear more respectful? Yes. If everything you've said to me, if all these things are true, especially this part where he does find you attractive and you're verified and he's being respectful. I hope that answers your question, darling. I mean, there could be other things, but if what you were telling me is absolutely true, okay, he's being respectful. When a man is dealing with a woman who's self-respecting, okay, he will show up in a respectful way. Like, I don't have men acting some kind of way around me. I really don't. I don't know about you, but men naturally open doors for me, and they naturally take care of me. They just move that way around me because I'm very self-respecting. So that's an energy, that's an aura, that's a signature that I carry, and that's something developed over years of being in my feminine, right? So whenever a man is dealing with a woman that respects herself, and we can talk about that in another video, what that actually looks like. And I'm sure I've got videos on YouTube. I've got so many videos on YouTube. Just go to YouTube, okay? A man will not press for sex if you respect yourself. He's going to be more careful with boundaries if you respect yourself, and he finds you very attractive emotionally. If he ranks you, if he values you, if he sees your value and you carry yourself with self-respect and you're feminine. If he feels like you're a dream girl, a man is not going to stress you out. And he's going to be careful how he moves around you. He's going to want to show you respect. If he doesn't, he's a loser and you need to get rid of him. Or you're not in your feminine, you're not self-respecting, you're not moving the way you should. Okay, let me get through as many of these as possible. Thank you, Soul Easy. Right, Cheng, you love your approach to femininity. It's authentic and not performative. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Linnell Rose says, I absolutely agree. Sure, ending to God's will for our lives is a wonderful way to walk in our feminine energy, 100%. Okay. With love, TQT says, we've been in a textationship for 3 months and met once, and I decided to flirt back strongly, and he disappeared for a week and then came back saying I put him in the friend zone, which I didn't. Okay, so he's gaslighting you. He doesn't want anything with you. He just wanted the emotional attention you were giving him. Okay, I know that women, we've been told, all men want is sex. It's kind of not true, okay? It's not completely true. Yes, if they don't want to sleep with you, they're not approaching you. But men will engage for an ego stroke. Textationship for 3 months. He's not into you, and the moment he disappeared and wanted to come back because he couldn't get that need met elsewhere, please block and delete. Thank you. And I know it's hard because in the textationship, we're out here falling in love with these guys, okay? Because we're wired to fall in love with words. So I can imagine that in 3 months, you've developed a really strong connection with him. but I promise you it's not with, nothing I'm going to say is going to make this feel better. But what I am going to say is that you need to block and delete him. He's wasting your time completely, absolutely. No two ways about it. Good. I'm glad that helped. I'm a bit confused because I hear men saying that women should take more initiative. Why do they say that? Isn't that masculine for women? Okay, so love this question. Okay, there are two types of, when men say women should take initiative, there are two types of men saying that, okay? We have the feminine energy guy that I spoke about earlier in this video who wants women to chase. I mean, he's just diabolical, okay? I don't want to get into it. Just watch the early part of of this live, okay? These feminine men who are exhausting. I get tired, okay? Want the woman to be in the masculine because they lack confidence. Masculinity makes men take risk, okay? Do the impossible, do the hard. The testosterone levels in their bodies requires a challenge, okay? So if a man wants to sit back and attract and have you do all the chasing, he's in his feminine. And honestly, he's going to be a complete waste of your time. Unless you are in your masculine, love being in your masculine, you like chasing men, it gives you joy. Chances are you're traumatized, but we're going to leave that alone. Okay, so there's that guy. Then there's the masculine guy who is respecting. Okay, so men who are seated in their masculine energy will not pursue a woman who is self-respecting. Okay, if a man is self-respecting in his masculine energy, he's not going to pursue a woman without a signal that she's choosing him, a signal that it's okay for her to, okay for him to make that move. Okay, so the feminine shows initiative by signaling. Okay, sometimes as girls we don't signal, and then we expect the man to just override the protocols that are necessary for the mating rituals of humans. So this is where the flirt and date masterclass comes in. Okay. The feminine must flirt, seduce. There's a reel on here. How to, I don't know. Just go through the reels. Go through the channel. Okay, go to YouTube and watch all of my videos. Or get the flirt and date masterclass. Okay, I've got a whole dating bundle that will teach you ladies how to date. That's the dating playbook, flirt and date masterclass. Promise you, if you comment educate, you will get a link. And you'll get a 40% discount and you can go and get those courses, okay? So in there, I teach you how to initiate in the feminine, okay? There are ways that we can let a man know. It's safe for you, come and talk to me, okay? The problem is women are not doing either. They're either chasing a man down like a dog looking for its prey, you know, like hunting dogs. Or they're just being passive and doing nothing. Okay, so there are ways. So that's why you're probably getting confused. So if you like masculine men, then you want to do the flirt and date masterclass. You want to go, if you don't want to get it, go to YouTube and watch all my videos on femininity and flirting and attracting men. Or there's some reels I've done here about how to signal a man. Honestly, if a man wants you, he doesn't need too much of a signal, but he does need a signal. Like, you don't have to go and show him I was going to say your tits, but you know, you don't have to go and lift your blouse and be like, I want you, right? Men who like you, if his eyes like you and his eyes are following you around the room and you give him a signal, if you look him in the eyes and smile, that's pretty much all a masculine man needs. Like, he does not need a lot of encouragement, okay? But sometimes if you're shy and you don't know how to do that, so I hope that helps with the confusion. Okay, let's see. Believe it or not, he mentioned marriage when he came back, already deleted. Proud of you. Oh my God, he threw the M word out there. I'm so proud of you that you didn't fall for that foolishness. Okay? Nonsense. I'm glad you've deleted him. You make Mama Swan proud. Well done. And you said you felt very tired when you met him, and that was your body. Yeah, that was your body telling you all you need to know. Okay, girls, don't override your body. And when we go on dates and drink, we don't allow our bodies to speak to us, because we shut off the centers that inform our bodies of what they need to know, okay? So try to not drink on dates. Not until you're exclusive, because you're shutting down your instinct. Okay? Or at least have one drink. But that's it. You're so welcome. Alia, you're welcome. Lanelle Rose, you're welcome. Okay, so I think I'm going to answer this one question and then I'm going to go. I don't think I've got any more questions. Okay, maybe a few more. Okay. The guy I'm dating doesn't have money at all. He lives in Africa. I live in France. I am afraid he's not able to be attracted by me, but by the dream of a better life. What do you think? I think you're right. Next question. I mean, girls, there is no former generation. None of our matriarchs would even consider this. I will never preach that you should just date a guy because he's rich. I don't believe in that. I have dated and date millionaires that I have rejected because those things don't matter in marriage, trust me. What matters is financial security, okay? To the level that he can provide for himself, can he add in another person and provide security for both of you? Even if it's an apartment, even if it's a 1-bedroom apartment, if that guy can provide for himself and another human, yourself, comfortably, Houston, we have takeoff. Why would you want a man who can't even provide the bare minimum? We don't do that for 1,000 reasons that I've mentioned in the beginning. When a man uses the term "it's me and not you," you have to give me the context. Real Dope Daddy says, "It's me and not you oftentimes is a man telling you the truth. You are not a bad person, but you don't make him want to commit. In many cases, very nuanced. Indeed." Thank you. I always love it when the men help me out here. Yeah. He just does not have the attraction that he needs to commit. Emotional or sexual or both. Thank you, sir. My boyfriend is so good to me, but he gives me the least when it goes to finances. What shall I do? Okay, when you say your boyfriend is so good to you, what does that mean? And does he meet your core needs? Because if he meets your core needs, he meets the needs that make you comfortable in your body, regulates your nervous system, and makes you feel loved and cherished in every other way, but he doesn't give to you financially, and maybe that's not part of your core need. As a woman, maybe you can, whatever. I can't tell you who you are. But if I am going to assume that this question is coming from a place where you don't feel that he is comfortable giving generously, you have to decide if that matters or not. For me, generosity is a non-negotiable because I'm a very generous person. I'm very giving. I'm very generous. Anyone who knows me knows I'm generous. I'm very proud of it. It's who I am. I went to therapy just to make sure that I wasn't self-sabotaging because I give everything generously. My time, my attention, my love. When you're around me, you'll be lavished, poured into. I've been on this call probably for 2 hours. I had no intention. And it's almost evening in London and I haven't eaten a thing because I'm pouring generously. That's how I move. So if you're a mean-spirited man who doesn't give with generosity in everything that you do, you cannot be my man. That is me. You got to figure out who you are. You got to figure out what works for you. Okay? Generosity has nothing to do with money. It's got to do with a heart posture. Okay? You might not have a lot, but the little you have, will you share it with me? Do I feel like I have access to it? Right? That matters for most. It might not matter for you. Okay? So you got to work that out. But if you want him to give you more, you have to be grateful for the little that he does give you. Okay? So if you want a man to give you more, then whatever he gives you, appreciate him, celebrate him, make him feel great for the little he does, and then he's going to give you more. So it might be that if you want more, you're not celebrating what he does give you and you're taking it for granted. Okay? So that's important to note as well. Why it seems that church is the only to meet God-fearing men. Where else do men hang out? Church has probably got the least God-fearing men in there. That's the truth. There are a lot of God-fearing men that don't go to church for a plethora of reasons that I won't explore in this particular video, because we'll be here all day. But I have mentioned it on some of my lives, and I've mentioned it in so many places, but I'm not going to go into it today. But you're going to meet a lot of feminine, broken men in church. Masculine men who are purpose-driven and have a relationship with God and fear the Lord tend to not go to church, because church is set up for the feminine, not for the masculine. Okay? I'm not saying there are no masculine men in church. I'm just saying that the majority of men in the church, many of the men in the church, are feminine energy men. Okay? And the idea that men are only in church is what's killing a lot of women. Okay? Men who are purpose-driven are in the kingdom. Okay? If you're a kingdom-minded person, you're fulfilling the will and the work of God in your assignment, and that doesn't necessarily mean you have to show up to a church every Sunday. Okay? And most men with an assignment don't. They are masculine men in church. Usually they're somebody's husband. Okay? And they're coming there for their wives. Or they're the pastor. You're so welcome. Real Dope Daddy says, yes, don't drink on a date until we're together. 100%. Love that. Kika Simone, what's the best way to figure out your cornies? How do you start to define this for yourself? It's a little bit of a process. It's a process. You first have to write a list of all the things that you feel you need out of a relationship. Not out of a particular man, but out of a relationship. Then you have to whittle that list down with a lot of soul searching to 5. And then you got to define what those 5 are and what it looks like for you. Okay, that's the simplistic way to go about it. Otherwise, you have to do the soulmate attraction system with a coach to help you. But that's a simplistic and easy enough way to go around it. Why is the relationship not moving forward? If a man is not moving a relationship forward with you, you're not his choice. Does he have it to give is the question. Yes, some men just don't have it to give. And then you got to decide if that works for you or not. What does it mean when a man says he's a receiver and a doer? He's androgynous. You can't be both. You can be both, but it's ridiculous. In a relationship, you got to choose. It just sounds like a feminine man with a lot of nonsense. Can we please just get rid of idiotic men that move in the spirit of confusion? God is not the author of confusion. Can we just be done with men that bring confusion in our lives by saying stupid things like that? Don't get Mama Swan angry now. Love you. Never thought of it that way. I'm glad I helped you think of it differently. They are in the kingdom, yes. A lot of godly men are in the kingdom, but not necessarily in church, yes. They're in the marketplace, yes. Yes, you're getting it. And that ends it beautifully. Is it ever okay to give a man money if it's your husband? Yes. If it's your fiance, possibly. Period. Thanks for the insights. It has been an educational life. I am so glad because I'm actually tired now. But I'm so glad you joined me. So join me on my next live. I will try and maybe give you like notice before I go live so that you can make the live and ask your questions. But sometimes I can't because I'm traveling. I'm on a nomadic journey. I am traveling all over the world until I get tired. Or God tells me to stop, one or the other. So depending on what country I'm in and what I'm doing, I can't guarantee a certain time or place, but a specific time. But what I will do is say that I will attempt to at least show up once a week wherever I am in the world and show you some love. But our next live is going to be about the traits men look for marriage, the traits men look for, need to fall in love, and kind of what happens in the dynamics when those things don't come together. Okay. I love you to bits and pieces, all of you. Thank you so much. Take care of you. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.